Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's I, the British Wolf, and today we will be doing a double feature on the Bubsy games on Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, depending on what you want to call it. Now, I know my audio is terrible, but that's because I'm not in Germany. I'm having to use my headset's microphone, which is going to suck. I promise I will try to filter out all the noise, but I can't promise that it'll actually work. So, you know. Anyway, in the first game, Bubsy, Claw's Encounters of the Third Kind. Even someone who loves dad jokes can't stand that title. The game is, how shall we say, abysmal. It tries to be funny, like Bubsy slams into the screen at the beginning of the game, but you have one hit point. You collect yarn, which has basically nothing beyond maybe getting an extra life. I never really found out. But the second you're hit by anything at all, you will die. Which is terrible for, well, the following reasons. See, Bubsy, for no reason whatsoever, can glide and sprint. Now, the gliding could be useful if you could actually see what the bloody hell is beneath you. The screen is so tiny and so focused on him that gliding basically means you're going to hit something that will kill you. And sprinting, you will hit at least 10 different enemies if you sprint for longer than a second, because there is just that bad a control. There's two different jumps, I will say, a high jump and a short jump, but you will never use a short jump, because if you do, you will probably fall to your death. The enemies are weird, like weird Noid-like creatures and trains and cars, some of which you can jump on, others will kill you. And much like regular cats, he's not exactly fond of water, although the amount of water in a level is absolutely inhuman and will instantly kill you without any second thought, which is just annoying. I had 9 lives when this game started, and it just didn't let up. The checkpoints are easy to miss. The entire level is far too big for its own understanding. You have no idea what you're doing. If you jump down a hole which you think is safe, you will probably die. And not to mention, you get so very sick of Bubsy. Bubsy, please. Please stop getting hit by every little thing. Bubsy, come on! Stop! Anyway, the game is impossible to play, and I don't even know what comes in the second level, because I never got through half of the first. And it's just so bad. So very bad. And it's bad because the game could have been playable. There is some form of decent game inside of this pile of shit. Which brings us to our second, Bubsy 2. No subtitles, because, I mean, let's face facts, I guess they ran out of money for it. The first thing I can say about this is Bubsy's kind of presenting on the title screen. Let's face facts, he probably started turning tricks to pay for the production of this game after the first one failed. So, in this game, the controls are a little better, but they are finicky. Sometimes have to feather the directional buttons, otherwise you will fly the second you jump in the wrong direction, probably land in water. There is a scuba gear in this game, which for some reason you just collect and doesn't do anything. Like, I collected it during the Egyptian level, as you'll see here, and I just died anyway, for no reason. You do actually have 3 hit points this time round, but here's a weird thing. There's 2 faces on the screen. The face that actually represents the hit points is the life counter, which begs the question, why is there another face at the bottom of the screen for no reason whatsoever other than just winking at you? There's a level select, one for East and West Wing, and a difficulty select. However, it doesn't make any bloody difference. The difficulty, I'm assuming, just decreases your lives or your health, but East and West Wing's exactly the same. The enemies can be rather cute, and they are a hell of a lot more colourful than a previous game, but, I mean, there's nothing to it. The enemies in this game is a lot more colourful than the previous one and have a lot more variety. However, some of them are difficult to kill. For instance, the flying ones, such as the Jetpack Penguin in Camelot, because apparently medieval knights had jetpacks, are impossible to hit, and they will swarm like a, well, swarm of bees, which again makes it impossible. You got Kung Fu kangaroos, which make no sense, and pigs, which don't even appear in the right time zone. Like, you'll have a pig wearing an exclamation mark t-shirt with a no sign, I'm assuming it's a no Bubsy sign, and then they just appear everywhere. Without a theme, like Camelot made sense, but Egypt? Really? Also, there's still random games in the actual levels. For For instance, you walk through a doorway and you will jump to a frog throwing game, which makes no sense. I didn't notice a sprint in this game. There is still a glide, but there isn't a sprint, which I think is an improvement because, let's face facts, the levels are even worse. Now, instead of just having one big level with a lot of mistakes, you now have one big level with so many things in your face you don't know where you're going. You will go behind items, you will go in front of items, you won't be able to see enemies behind the items either, and you will die. A lot. Again. And it is just so bad. There's nothing to these games whatsoever, and if I could, I sadly can't, but if I could, I'd be ripping on the third Bubsy game, which was on PS1 as well, because somehow they made it worse than these two. And it's a shame because you can see that something was going to come out of this game, but sadly, instead of the wonderful diamond that could have been made out of, you know, pressure on coal, instead we have, well, coal. Not even good coal either. Like, it looks like coal, but it's basically horse shit. Which is a shame, because Bubsy could have easily become a decent playable game. Just a pity that the developers and the creators actually didn't think too much when making it. Oh, also in the second game you collect marbles, because, I mean, reasons. There's also a shop in between levels, which makes no sense, because you have to collect a certain kind of currency, which can only be found in areas that will probably kill you. Fun. Anyway, that's all I can really say on the Bubsy games. They are quite bad, and I would not recommend you playing them, unless of course you want to do a Rage compilation or a Dark Souls style retry of old games, because in which case, go ahead. You'll probably end up bald from ripping out your hair at the end of the day, but go ahead. You enjoy your masochism. Anyway, other than the provocative ass of Bubsy in the second game, because let's face facts, prostitution is probably the only way he ever got his money back for this crap, that's all I can really say. Yeah, there's nothing else to mention about this game. It's just so bad, both of them. The second less so, but still bad. That's all on the Bubsy case. So I've been the British Wolf, you've been the audience, and I will see you in the next video. A ta-ta for now.